Let's take a look at car chases in Call of Cthulhu. This is my second video about chases in Call of Cthulhu. The first video covered all the basics. This one looks at driving vehicles at speed and how the build mechanic works in vehicular combat. So let's start off with the vehicle reference chart. Now we can see a standard car has a movement rate of 14. Now you might be asking, hey Paul, can't a person move at like movement rate 8 or 9? So a car is only 14? That doesn't sound that much. Well, my answer is a car moving at movement rate 14 is like your law-abiding urban driving speed. But in a chase, you get to put your foot down and that movement rate of 14 suddenly takes on a different meaning. Now in a normal chase, remember you spend one movement action to move forward one location. In a vehicle, likewise, you can spend one movement action for one location, or by accelerating, you can use that one movement action to move more locations. If you move 2 or 3 locations, you get a penalty die on any hazards that you encounter. If you really speed up and go 4 or 5 locations on one movement action, you can do so, but you get 2 penalty dice on every hazard that you encounter. Now be aware that once you commit to moving extra locations, you can't take it back. To help you out, there's a section called Random Hazards and Barriers. This is there so that you can make dice rolls to determine hazards and barriers during the chase. That way, neither keeper nor players really know what's coming up, what's just around the corner. Is there a vehicle pulling out? Is there somebody running out into the road? Are there a couple of guys carrying a big sheet of glass across the street? Who knows? Passengers. Passengers don't need to make a speed roll. They're in the chase, but they're not driving the chase. But those passengers, they're still going to want to do things, especially if they're player characters, right? And there's 2 main things they can do. First, they can make ranged attacks. Second, they can help out the driver. So on their turn in the round, in dex order, each passenger can make a ranged attack. But they get a penalty die because they're in a speeding vehicle. One passenger can also take the role of co-pilot. If they make a successful spot hidden or navigate roll, the driver takes 1 fewer penalty dice when they commit to going additional locations. If the driver suffers a major wound, as normal, they have to make a constitution roll to remain conscious. Providing they remain conscious, they then have to make a roll as if that were a hard hazard. Let's take another look at that vehicle reference chart. Each vehicle has a build value. Build points for vehicles are like hit points for people. If a vehicle's build is reduced to half its starting value, it's impaired. Any drive auto rolls for that vehicle are now made with a penalty die. If a vehicle takes damage and its starting build is slowly reduced down to 0 incrementally, then it's 2 damage to drive. If a vehicle takes damage equal to or greater than its original build value in 1 hit, it's a total write-off. It's smashed, it crashes, it burns, it rolls, whatever seems cool. Anybody inside almost certainly killed. If they're a player character, be generous, give them a luck roll, see if they get thrown free or survive somehow. Now the vehicular collisions table, that's a lot like the other forms of damage table. It's a tool for the keeper who can use the nature of the incident in the story and look down the chart and find something comparable and then apply that level of damage. We mentioned earlier about hazards and how moving through a location can involve a hazard. Just like the levels of difficulty, there are regular hazards, hard hazards, and extreme hazards. And each one of those hazards ties in on this chart. So a regular hazard leads to a regular incident. An extreme hazard, an extreme incident. So crashing into a Harley Davidson motorbike, that's going to be a moderate hazard. It's a pretty big thing. It's going to be 1d6 damage. Now consider a regular car, 5 build. So 1d6 could totally take it out. Hold on, this is a car chase, right? When do I get to ram the other guy off the road? Well, here's how you do that. In the chase, if the 2 vehicles get level with one another in the same location, and one of them's got an action, they can use it to attack the other one. You fight with your vehicle just like using your fists, but instead of the fighting brawl and dodge skill, those are both replaced with the drive auto skill. I hope you found this video useful. Now, let's fill up the Bentley, put on those leather driving gloves, and hit the road.